Hi, it's Francine from William Ravis Mortgage, and I'm here with Stacey Sporen, who's with the Ravis office in Armonk, and Stacey is a top producing agent in Westchester. And we wanted to spend some time and talk about what makes real estate special to you.
Well, first of all, thank you, Francine, for having me on.
My pleasure.
And I love being around Francine. She's awesome energy, and she's a rock star with mortgages, and she really helps me with my clients. So number one shout out is to you. Thank you. What makes real estate interesting for me is two things. One, I grew up in Armonk, so I'm back here, and I have been here, and I raised my kids here. So that's been really great for me because I've got a lot of ties to the community. What's also special is just watching how amazing it's grown. We've got so many new restaurants. We've got Equinox and a lot of young families moving in, which keep our town pretty vibrant.
Yeah, vibrant.
So why I got into real estate is, to make a very long story short, when I first moved here, I bought my first house from an ad in the New York Times, and it was for sale by owner.
How ironic.
So I think quickly I learned how much I loved interacting in that real estate deal, and watching how, if I didn't pay attention to every single detail, that sale would probably not have happened. So right away I jumped into real estate. But really quickly, real estate is not about finding a house.
Right.
It's not just about selling a house. It's way more. There are a million pieces of the puzzle that need to be put together. And that's what a great real estate agent or broker does. They manage that process from the beginning to the end, and make sure all those pitfalls that do happen get taken care of. They get taken care of quickly, properly, and really make sure that closing happens.
And you had told us a story, and I want you to share it, about the lovely elderly lady that you helped with selling a house that she lived in for how many years?
A long time.
Oh my God.
So I would say, if you ask me, one of my most favorite or memorable experiences could possibly have been one of my last transactions. And again, every single transaction is completely different. I mean, every single time you have a house to sell or a buyer you're working with, it's never the same. Which is beautiful and also makes you kind of crazy. We're here 24/7. This is a full-time job. It's a little bit even more so than my mom job. Makes me a little nutty, but I'm going to get back to why that last transaction was so memorable. Growing up here in town, there still are a bunch of people that I know who lived here, while I was young, and their parents stayed here. And I recently was contacted probably a year ago about a friend, and their mom is here still in the house, taking care of the roof and shoveling the snow, and she's 91 and 91 years old, and the kids don't live nearby. And they were all thinking maybe it's time for her to pack up and move, downsize, and maybe go to a more, fun place to live with card tables and, parks nearby and easy living. But that was daunting.
Yeah, 45 years in the house.
Yeah, so she's lived in there forever. Her doctors are all here. Her friends are, well, they were dwindling, so there weren't that many. But the reason why it's so meaningful for me is that, again, like I mentioned before, it's not about buying or selling a home. It's about the process, and it's about what happens in between. And she was super emotional about it, and not only the emotional part, but it's so hard to do. We need to get dumpsters. We need to,
she would be able to do that.
We need
guidance
to exactly and start, packing stuff and selling stuff. And as I walked through the house, I saw Farrah Fawcett posters all over the walls, and there were Tupperware, piled high from years and years of ordering in food. So in general, it was a very rewarding experience because I managed the whole transaction for her. And, the day she was moving was could not have been scarier for anybody, you know. And after the closing happened, the hug I got was ginormous, and she still writes me on a weekly basis via email for a 91-year-old, and she writes how thankful she is to have met me and that I was a part of her life. But I couldn't be happier because she is in a brand new apartment, all white kitchen, starting to learn how to play cards, and she's in a whole new phase of her life. So for me, watching that the transition going from this scary, sad period of her life, into something that's going to be so beautiful for the next 10, 12, 15 years. Yeah. So, but
you facilitated and managed it and got everything done so she didn't have to stress.
Right, exactly. And you know what, for her kids too, I'm sure her kids were really thankful. They didn't have to come up every single weekend and packing and stuff. And not that I'm getting on my hands and knees and packing up for you. That's not what this is about. But I would. But it's helping people go into from stressful situations to positive. And like I said to you before, I'm a people person, so for me that's the most rewarding part of being a real estate broker, a real estate agent, a real estate manager. A friend, a therapist, and all of that. And
you're all heart, and it's true. And your clients, I think, of all things, appreciate the fact that you are vibrant, and that's what makes them happy. And they know that you can get the job done. That's a given.
Right. Well, thank you.
I appreciate We're going to continue this. I think this is a great idea. People get to know you even more and understand what goes on in your heart and your soul. And for those people who don't know, Stacey does work 24/7. So
poor you, because I'm emailing her at midnight. So
it doesn't matter when. Questions have to get answered when they're asked, and I think that's what we both are the same ilk. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Have a great day, and we'll see.